Get Your Healthy Habit Cafe, and once again we've had another amazing event. Kevin Gianni, and over there is Anne-Marie Gianni, and they, in front of about 20 or so people, had an amazing talk, food prep session, talking about their travels and all that stuff. So we got Kevin for a few minutes here. A few minutes, 2 minutes, less than 5. You taught me always less than 5 on YouTube.
All my videos are over 5.
So how about a highlight or two from some of your more recent stops?
Yeah.
Things maybe off of food, off of nutrition, just experiences that,
Nice.
that makes you happy that you made this journey.
I'm glad that you asked off of food, because sometimes it gets a little bit repetitive.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
It's funny when you're touring and talking and you're doing events. You know, you talk about the same thing over and over again to a different group of people. That's the distinction. Because I get really bored of my talk sometimes. Sometimes they're like, oh man, don't they know this already? And I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't talk to them about it already. Yeah. So it's good to kind of switch up gears. Cool things, you know, I'm really fascinated with looking at success as a model. And really the most successful people are the people that I want to be following. And whether it's with health or business or anything like that, that's where I want to go. And that's really my fascination. So I'm more passionate about following those people than I am about just about anything else. And so meeting people like Charlotte Gerson from gerson.org, who does, you know, alternative treatment for degenerative disease. I mean, it's just fascinating stuff. Yeah. And it's stuff that, you know, there are real people out there doing real stuff, and they're getting the results that a lot of people want, and people don't know about those options. And that's really one of the biggest things on our tour that we've been exploring. And you know, Charlotte Gerson, she's 87 years old, and literally like a gazelle, she's like jumping over wires and all that sort of stuff. You know, I mean, it's pretty cool. Not like a gazelle, but
yeah,
you know, I mean, a gazelle's a little more, you know,
active.
At 87, you know,
yeah, but
you can't really.
For an 87-year-old, I mean, you're comparing her to 50, 60-year-olds as far as her movement goes, and that can be attributed to her lifestyle and her also positivity. Yeah. That's amazing stuff.
And you know, you age as you get older, right? I mean, that's the common belief, but apparently she's kind of broken the code to some degree.
Yeah. And
you know, I asked her too. It's funny, you know, you think that as people get older they retire and all that sort of stuff. I asked her, like, well, how many days a week do you work now? And she's like, now? And she has this like this German kind of accent. Now? And I said, yeah. How many? She's like, 7. You know, and she's like, she works 7 days a week. She's always doing stuff, and she's keeping active. And I think that's a really big distinction for what we're going to talk about health. So yeah, I'll save that for later.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Now, how about, like, I don't know, just in your travels, driving that big contraption? You talked a little bit tonight about your issues around parking that you and Anne-Marie have struggled with.
Well, one thing is you don't need a license to drive an RV like that. So that's 36 feet. Your city bus, if you live in a city, your city bus is 40. It's got 2 more tires on it, so it's got another axle, but you don't need a special license. I think it's kind of a ridiculous law, but we're kind of sliding by with it right now. We actually took a course from a guy that's out here in where was that? I forget where it was located, but it's out here on near New London-ish. We took a course, but so you don't need a license to drive the thing, and parking it is probably one of the biggest challenges that we've had, and it's been funny because it's actually helped Anne-Marie and my relationship grow to a point where we've been able to communicate very clearly about things that are going on. So it used to be, when we first started, we would go out in park somewhere, and you know, I would be driving, and Anne-Marie would be trying to explain, you know, how to direct me, and her hands would be like going like this. So I'm like, what direction does that mean, you know? And so we wouldn't just be able to figure out where we were going and how to get in there, and it inevitably would lead to a little bit of a frustration, or maybe a little bit of a minor kind of argument, until finally, you know, over the last, like, you know, it took us 10 weeks to figure this out, we realized that I was better at directing, and Anne-Marie was better at following the directions that I did. So we switched gears, and like today we did it just right out here on this busy West Haven street, and it was just everything it was a little easier because
except for the branch.
Yeah, well, you know, something's got to go. not everything's perfect. Yeah. But you know, so we pulled in and it worked really well, so there wasn't really that much frustration. So real valuable lesson, you know,
cool.
in I guess relationships, I guess.
Yeah, communication. It all comes down to communication, doesn't it? Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. Now, finally, talk a little bit about Chicago, because I know you went there, and they've seemed to have like this amazing raw community building, And how was that stop? How were the people there?
It was great. They have 2 restaurants in Chicago, at least that I know of, that we went to. One is Cousins, and it's the chef is named Mehmet Ak, and Mehmet has a real Mediterranean, well, he's from Turkey, so he must have a Mediterranean type feel. So he's got a real Mediterranean type feel to his restaurant. So falafels, you know, different kind of, he's got a really signature taco that he has. It tastes really good. I told him to make Turkish red lentil balls, raw. That's what I want, because I really like the Turkish red lentil kind of mixture that they make. So I'm like, make it raw, man. I really, you know, we'll come there. We'll fly out just to get it. And so he's got a neat community there. He does detox classes. He does raw food boxes and a whole bunch of cool stuff there. So that's on one side of the city, and then on another side there's Karen's. I don't even know if it's on the other side, but it just seemed like it was. But then there's Karen's Raw, which is a little bit different. She does a little more of the gourmet stuff. She has a little more of a store, and in the back she does all this detox stuff. She does everything from facial treatments to colonics to a whole bunch of different ozone therapies and a whole bunch of different things. So it's a vibrant community. There's a lot of people going to both of these places. There's a lot of people getting introduced to raw food. And like in any big city, I know that you guys in the smaller places are probably saying, oh, you know, oh, woe's me. But, you know, there's always a place where you can find some people who are doing what you like and what you want to do. But, you know, in this city, it's really thriving. And it's just in the middle of the country. You know, you'd expect it to be in California, you'd expect it to be in New York, but Chicago is pretty vibrant. And so it was really cool to experience what they have there.
Cool. And I know Karen is writing a new book. And
yes.
Can you share the title of that new book?
You know, I don't know. I'm going to paraphrase it, but isn't it soak your nuts?
Soak Your Nuts is the title of her book. So when I heard that on Kevin's show, I directly went to email her and ask her what size T-shirt she wears. And I got back an extra
tiny, yeah.
I got back an extra small. Unfortunately, I only have a small, but this, Karen, this is on the way to you in Chicago. Have you soaked your nuts today? And for those of you who don't know that whole thing, you'll in due time learn about that. It's very important into the raw food world. If you choose to consume a lot of nuts and seeds, soaking them beforehand makes them a little bit more beneficial, easier to digest, more nutrition from them and all that stuff. So that's coming to you. Kevin?
Yeah.
Anne-Marie, thanks for your time. You guys are awesome, and we look forward to the second leg of your tour. And
it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, we'll see you back in Connecticut soon.
Was it say hold your horses?
Hold your horses.
You know, we've got some big stuff coming up.
Big stuff coming up. And also, really quick, how about your book?
Oh, High Raw. High Raw. Hey, let's get one of those.
High Raw is an amazing book. In the actual front cover, we'll soon actually have Kevin's name on it. That's coming.
What a surprise.
That's coming next. But
you know,
for now, it's just High Raw, and
you can eat it.
You probably could, right? It's on recycled paper.
Yeah, it's on recycled paper, vegetable-based ink. I mean, literally, you could, if you really needed something, if you were like, you know, on a long trip and you really needed some food, you might be able to get away with this for maybe a day or so.
And for all you 80-10-10 people, it is a lot of carbohydrates in there.
It is.
So hit that red button, Paulie, and we're good for the night.